I'd like to welcome everybody on this call for our phase 2 of the 21-day challenge. I am so incredibly excited from everything that you have all been posting this week. I just want to wish everybody who had a successful detox week, congratulations. And as a group, for those of you that have already posted for me, I just want you to know that you all lost over 60 pounds last week. Can you believe that? 60 pounds gone forever. I am so proud of all of you and of all of your efforts for what you had done throughout this week. It is incredible. So I know that detox comes with its challenges, right? But we should really be over that hump, and off we should be going into the next phase, which is our phase 2, which is our fat burning phase. So exciting. So what changed for you during this week? This is what I'd love for you to post about. I think that all of the photos that you posted with different foods was incredibly awesome. I've been posting a lot of materials. I also this morning released all of the information that you'll need to have for the up and coming week, which is Unit 2. So we have so much to talk about tonight. First, I just want to say that for those of you that did have very significant weight loss this week, and I know that there were many of you that did, please know that week 2 might be a little bit different. Even though we're going to be still on this 21-day challenge, after detox, sometimes our bodies need a little bit of time to readjust. So when that happens, you might notice that the scale might not move as quickly as perhaps you were hoping that it would, but don't worry about it. You're changing your body composition and you will be losing the weight as we continue on this journey. The tools that we have are all over the place. So I've been posting a lot of information, but remember, every single person on this call has free access to our corporate website, which is TLSslim.com. And on that website is all of the information that you could possibly want regarding everything that has to do with not only the 21-day challenge, but the bigger program as we continue on. I find that there are 2 types of people that do the 21-day challenge. Those that are looking to take off weight really quick for an event or to get a great kickstart, but many of you have a significant amount of weight to lose. So just know that this is a journey. It is not a race, one day at a time, until we get incredibly comfortable with TLS just being our lifestyle of choice, and it's just what we do. In the beginning, I know that you might be thinking about how much do things weigh? Am I eating enough? Am I doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing? And just trust in the process and know that within 6 weeks, so many things will change for you. Your cravings are going to change. Your body composition is changing. You are going to have sleep. For sure, better sleep. I mean, and think about what helped you this week. I'm sure that many of you were very tired from your detox week, and that gave you a little bit better sleep. So now it's all about continuing the momentum so that we can move forward. A lot of you during the detox week also had hot water with lemon in the morning. And just remember that that is really great, because what the lemon does, and you can absolutely continue that. I know that there were some people that asked about that. It really helps to keep your body in a more alkaline state than an acidic state. And that helps with digestion and also to prevent cravings. So if you think about it, imagine that you had a greasy stovetop. Right? We've all had that in our kitchen. And say you were to take some cold water and you wanted to clean it. Well, that wouldn't be so good, right? So what would happen if you used hot water and a little bit of something else to try and clean that grease off? The hot water helps to open up the gallbladder, helps to open up our pores and let our body take in more of the nutrients of the great foods that we're having. So as we come into week 2, there are going to be several things that will be changing for you. Your energy might change. It might start to skyrocket. That's awesome. Keep going with what you're doing. If you find that you're a little bit sluggish during the day, you might be interested in using some of our B complex to take in the afternoon as a little bit of a boost, because those B vitamins will truly help you to have a little bit more energy. So, you know, the B vitamins are great. It helps with your stress. It helps with mood. It helps you to digest proteins, fat, and carbs. And it also helps with some of the bloating that you're feeling. There's a little bit of niacin in the activated B. So just know sometimes if you take that on its own and you get a little bit of a hot flash of heat, it's just from that, and don't worry about it. It'll go away in a minute or two. So methylated Bs are important to understand because there are a lot of people that have difficulty absorbing B vitamins. But because ours are activated already, then the body is ready to absorb them. So it is a fabulous, fabulous way to help you. Another component could be adding complete greens. We now have them, believe it or not, it's so exciting, in isotonic formula. And the isotonic complete greens are organic, and it really helps with a tremendous amount of phytonutrients to get into our body outside of the types of greens that you might already be eating. So think about that. Also, the other 2 big changes, there's really 3 big changes in your menu plan going forward. And I sent everybody the fat shredder. You should have that. And if you notice what some of the changes are, number 1, we're going to be reducing our fruit intake. We are going from 3 fruits a day down to 1 fruit a day because we no longer want all of that sugar. The next part, and I know you're all going to love this one, is that we're going to be able to increase our protein intake. So during detox week, we had 3 ounces of protein twice a day. Going forward, you will be able to have at least 3 servings of protein a day at each one of those meals. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For women, you will be able to have anywhere between 4 to 6 ounces of protein. So it's important that you know what 4 to 6 ounces of protein looks like. And to do that, just weigh it out. If you decide that you want to have some turkey breast and you're going to the deli, number 1, I always get low sodium, and I keep with 2 brands specifically. I usually do Boar's Head or Applegate, and the reason is because there are no nitrates in that. So I figure the more that I can keep my body in the clean state that I just went through detox, that's what I choose to purchase. So when I go to the deli counter, I will ask them to carve up for me individual packages of 5 ounces of turkey breast. Why do I do that? I do that so that when I'm making my salad, I have my turkey breast already ready for me and I don't have to think about it. It is just ready to go. So that's a really great tip for you to really remember. The question always comes up about eggs. Well, how many eggs does that mean, having 4 ounces of eggs? Well, just think about this. Each egg we're going to say is 1 ounce. So if I'm asking you to have 4 ounces of protein for breakfast and your only source of protein is eggs, that would be 4 eggs. That's what I want you to know. So please make sure that you go through your list that you have on the back of the Fat Shredder menu that is in the Unit 2 documents on this Facebook Live page, and you will see all of the different types of proteins that you can now add in. We're also going to keep our fats as 2 good servings of fats per day. Again, make sure that you're measuring and that you know exactly what 2 fat servings look like. But what we're going to be doing for our snacks is a little bit different. For the 2 snacks, what we want you to do, which is what came in your TLS 21-day challenge kit, is to have the nutrition shakes. Why do I want you to have the TLS nutrition shakes? We have over 18 grams of protein and 10 grams of fiber in each one of these shakes. And that's really the amount of protein that you need for your snacks throughout the day, which is 2 to 3 ounces of protein. So I always recommend this. This is how I find it really easy to remember. I think of 1 ounce of protein equals, let's use, it can be between 7 and 9, but let's use the number 7 grams of protein. Now, why do I say that? Because sometimes you might be looking at a can of tuna fish, or you might be looking at another type of food that you might not be eating fresh. So if you look at anything and you see on the label what the protein is, there's always going to be a grams amount listed. 7 grams of protein is 1 ounce of protein, which equals 1 ounce of your serving of protein throughout your meal. So let's break that down a little bit more. If I said to you that I want you to have between 2 to 3 ounces of protein for your afternoon and or morning snack, what that would mean is 3 ounces of protein. Remember I said 7 grams per ounce, so that would be anywhere between 14 and 21 grams of protein. That's why it's really important that you understand that. And I encourage everybody to go to TLSslim.com and look at the resource guide, and then there will be some educational videos that are there which will give you a lot of information on how to read labels. I'll go over a little bit of that tonight, but I really want to get back to what's going to be happening next week. The one other real big change for next week, where this week everyone was kind of laying low and not doing exercise and relaxing, this is where, in the fat burning mode, what do you think we need to do? We need to start moving our bodies. So we have to rev up the engine and we have to get going so that we can help our bodies to maximize everything that we need to be having as we're intaking all of this additional food. So if you haven't been exercising at all, I would just say this: at least get out there and move. Just walk. I would rather see you do 10 minutes a day of just walking than telling me that you're going to the gym for 1 hour a week and you're crushing it. It's the consistency and the continuity of movement that is going to help you get from point A to point B. Of course, if you've already been exercising, and I know that there are many of you that are, go ahead and continue to do exactly what you're doing. But the goal would be to get up to at least 20 minutes over the next 2 weeks if you haven't been exercising at all. When you do exercise, it takes your body approximately 20 minutes before you start to really reap the benefits of what the exercise is all about. So go ahead and get out there and start moving your body. Make sure to go over your menu plan, look at it. If you need to go food shopping, go ahead and do so, and look at your lists as best that you can. I know that a lot of you are posting comments, and that's awesome. And as soon as we are done with my explanation of what's going to happen during phase 2, then what I'm going to do is go through your questions and answer a lot of your questions. The one thing to know also, the other main tool that we have is our TLS Health Journal and Guidebook. So I have a copy of mine. Whoops. And you can see that mine is really pretty beat up because I really use this a lot. And this goes through the full 12 weeks of what the TLS program is and gives you a lot of tips, a lot of tools. And we also have a 30-day journal in the back of the book if you wanted to use that. Now, a lot of people say, oh, this is too heavy, I can't carry it around. And you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree with you more. So what I would say is just write it down. I don't care how you start to journal what it is that you're doing over the next 2 weeks, but this is one of the requirements of the 21-day challenge. Remember, before we started, I said to everybody, you've got to be coachable to get through the next 3 weeks. 21 days, everyone can do it. I spend time every day posting great things for you. I hope that everybody liked the information that I posted during the 7-day detox week, and I will be posting everything else as we go through the next 2 weeks and additional support materials as we go through. You know, one of the other parts about journaling, it's not just about the food that you eat. It's also about the emotional state, because a lot of things do start to happen as we start to go through this 21 days and the transformation that we have in our eating habits as well as our lifestyle. And what some people tell me is that they tend to get sad, they get a little bit lonely, a little bit depressed, and they're not really sure why. Well, I can tell you that I think that some of the reasons for that is because we as a society use so much of our social time with our friends and with our family around a dining table. So if you're really focused on making sure that you're sticking to the menu plan because you're committed to this lifestyle and your friends are going out for Italian food, you may say, you know what, I think I'm going to pass tonight. And then what happens is you sit up in front of the TV and you're watching, and based on old habits you have, some of you I know quite well who might be reaching for that popcorn or for some other types of foods that you're used to snacking on mindlessly while you're watching the boob tube at night, then you say, oh, I'm not supposed to have that either, and then you get even more depressed and more frustrated. Go back to your why. Go back to thinking about why you started this. What were your goals? What is the reason that you are trying to make changes in your life? Have some tools ahead of time of things that you can do. So what do you think that some of the things are that you can do when you start getting into one of those funky moods because you're a little bit angry that you're hangry, right? So I would say, how about thinking about taking a walk? Maybe walk your dog, or maybe do a little bit of exercise. Just remember that once you start to have a craving, if you don't pay attention to it, then the cravings do dissipate. How about having some snacks already ready for you? Do you have cut up vegetables in the refrigerator? Are those ready to go for you when you need them? Now that we also can have our nutrition shakes, I did put in the attachments some shaken and bacon with TLS, which is a lot of recipes that utilize the shake mixes that we have. So go ahead and make a really great, fun dessert with the nutrition shake. That's really cool too to have at night. So maybe you can read a book. How about calling a friend, doing something that will distract you from, kind of having that pity party about what it is that you're depriving yourself from. Just keep in mind that whatever it is that you are giving up in the way of food, you are gaining in the improvement of your health and your wellness. It is so important that you keep focused on that. And if it's that you're saying, oh, I'm really hungry, well, let's talk about what hunger really means. When you are very hungry, you could be a little lightheaded. You could be a little bit of headache. You might have your stomach starting to growl. Perhaps you didn't have enough water throughout the day. I know that a lot of times people feel hungry when actually what their bodies are craving for is water. So it is crucial to make sure that you get your water in. If you absolutely are totally addicted to coffee and you must have your coffee, again, no more than 1 cup throughout this week. Your supplements will stay the same. In other words, you're going to have your OPC, your multivitamin when you wake up first thing in the morning, followed by hot water and lemon juice if you choose to do that. That's absolutely optional. and then go ahead and take your 2 core before breakfast or before lunch and dinner. You're going to take core now twice a day, 30 to 45 minutes before your 2 largest meals. Remember this, that the quantity of core is a total of 4, not 2. So don't get hung up on the fact that maybe you forgot or you didn't remember or you didn't get it in exactly 30 to 40 minutes beforehand. It's really okay. Just take it with your food. Some of the things that I did when I was first starting out was I would set a timer to remind me to take it before I was going to have lunch or before dinner time. So use whatever you need to use in order to remember what it is that you need to have. Okay, that's really cool. One of the other things is that when it comes to reading labels, I'm not going to get too much into that tonight, but I just want you to know that labels can be very misleading for a lot of reasons. There are some people that might be interested in wanting to add a salsa or maybe take a portobello mushroom and grill it this week and put a little bit of tomato sauce on it. What you need to keep in mind is just remember that we want to keep our sugar really below 5 grams. And I find that most of the organic foods out there have less sugar in them. So it's important that when you're looking at a label to really look at the amount of grams that sugar is within the food that you're eating. So the quick thing that I'm going to talk about now as far as labels, if you are looking to have that, and that could be something like a salsa that I have right here, okay? You know, on every single label, you're going to see the most important thing that you're going to look at is how many servings are within this particular package or bag of what I'm having. And not that we're having nuts this week, but I can tell you that this one little package has 2 servings in it. Can you imagine, based on what's in here? This little one, which is pineapple and bananas, and it says it's totally organic. There's no GMOs, which is genetically modified, meaning that chemicals have been added to your food. There's nothing in this, but this little bag has over 2.5 servings in this little bag. So whenever you look at a label, you want to make sure that when you do your calculations, you're doing it on the basis of 1 serving. All right. I want you to look on the label. The next thing to look at is the total carbohydrates. There's going to be a number there. Remember what that number is. Right underneath that number is going to be something that says dietary fiber. You are going to subtract the dietary fiber number from the carbohydrate number. If you see sugar, alcohol, or glycerin on a label, you most likely won't see those 2 things because those are mostly on protein bars. But if you see that, that would also be deducted from that total carbohydrate number. Remember, it is not sugar, it is sugar alcohol that we are deducting. And what's going to happen when you deduct the dietary fiber from the total carbohydrate number based on 1 serving, it's going to give you another number, simple math. And in the world of low glycemic foods, we are looking to have that number, the best place is in the single digits. I always say 10 and below. So this is going to be an aha moment for a lot of you. And there is a little bit of an exception to that, by the way. When we do get back into having some dairy, and there is no dairy, by the way, on this Fat Shredder menu for weeks 2 and 3. But just remember that you might see on some labels a little bit higher net carbohydrates, and that's really okay because in lactose products there are natural sugars, and those natural sugars will not affect your blood sugar and the effect that it has on your body with the highs and the lows that we talked about last week. So just be aware of what I'm talking about as far as keeping an eye on the labels. So to give you an example, I brought up, and we're not having legumes this week, but I just brought in some chickpeas, okay? And when I look at this little can, by the way, has 3.5 servings of garbanzo beans in here. Great source of protein, but there's a lot of other stuff in here that's not so great. So I look at the total carbohydrates on here, which is 19 grams. And then I look at the dietary fiber, and it's 4 grams. So that leaves me with 15 grams. So, you know, for those people that are vegetarian and they need to have legumes and starchy protein as their source of protein, we're just going to have to deal with it. But for the rest of you, there are so many other choices of protein out there that I'd rather you eat some of the leaner ones without all of the additional fat in here. And by the way, a serving size is 1/2 cup. I want you to imagine how tiny 1/2 cup really is. You know, if you take your hand and you open it up like this, a quick thing to know is that kind of represents like what a cup of lettuce might be like. So just imagine what 1/2 cup is. Now, when we talk TLS, I always say, everyone, there's no counting, weighing, or measuring. So why am I going through all of this with you? The reason is because a lot of you don't really know what 1/4 cup looks like, or 1/2 cup, or 2 ounces, or 5 ounces. And so many of us have the mentality that the less I eat, the thinner I will be. And that is not the mentality of what TLS is at all. The mentality we need to have is that we need to fuel our bodies so that we are in a constant state of fat burning mode, keeping our blood sugar levels even throughout the day so that we can reap the benefits of a faster metabolism, fat burning, changing our body composition, using the science-based supplementation, and of course, having education. I know that we're coming up on our half hour, which is what I committed to doing this call to. So I just want to congratulate everybody, and I'm going to go through some of the questions and look at them and see what I can answer for you. So if you have any questions, go ahead and please type them in now. I have somebody saying that they're a little tired. I can tell you that wherever you are in your detox week, by the end of detox, you're going to feel better. And remember last week I said that there's going to be at least a couple of you asking me if you can continue on detox. Well, sure enough, 3 of you did. So if you want to continue with the menu of detox, even though you do not have the supplements, go ahead with the multivitamin and the OPC3 because there was a 30-day supply in there. Keep up with the core, and you can follow the menu plan, but no more than additional 3 days because I really want you to take off the weight that I want you to have. Let's see what else. Fiber powder. Great question. Fiber powder can be used. Keep going. If you need more, we sell fiber powder on its own, and just make a comment and I will let you know, or you could go to my website and you can order the NutriClean 7-Day Fiber Powder to keep everything running in your body and flushing your system and keeping those bowels moving. Great supplement to have. I would keep away from protein bars. That was another question over this week. Again, on the Fat Shredder menu, I want both of your snacks to be the protein shakes. If there is somebody that has an issue with whey protein, I know that that comes up sometimes, please make sure that you're eating lean protein in lieu of that, but you're having at least 2 to 3 ounces of protein. So that could be lean turkey, it could be chicken breast, it could be even fish, whatever that is. We want to make sure that you're getting some protein and fiber in for those 2 snacks if you cannot tolerate whey. Someone is asking me about the shake with the almond milk. Again, I would hold off on almond milk this week because that's bringing in a nut source. And when I look at my menu plan, I am not seeing nuts on here. So I'm going back and throwing the ball in your court and saying, if it's not on here, we're not having it. So try and use water as best you can. If you do feel that you need to have unsweetened almond milk as your beverage of choice, then in the scheme of things, go ahead and do so. Someone has asked me what is the best way to have protein shakes. Well, there's really two ways that people make them. I know a lot of my clients like to put the powder into a blender and sometimes add one of their fruits into it, or maybe a handful of spinach to make it a green super smoothie. That's really okay. Just throw a couple of ice cubes in there. You can have it that way. I choose not to. I use, everyone in their 21-day challenge kit got a blender bottle with a little wire whisk in here. So what I do is I take 2 scoops of the powder. I will add in 8 ounces of water or unsweetened almond milk and a bunch of ice cubes, shake it up, and I'm out the door. So it is a really easy thing, and I always have that with me. What you can also do is take some of the 2 scoops of the protein powder, and if you buy the small snack baggies and you don't want to carry the jug with you to your office or wherever you're going, just make sure that you have your cup with you and just take the powder in a baggie and take it with you to work or wherever you're going, so you have it handy. Coconut water, we are not going to be using this week. Again, we're just working on the sugar, and I want to keep it as lean and mean over the next 2 weeks so that we really make a commitment to make these changes in the 21-day challenge. You know, I am just so proud of all of you. I did put another article into the units, which is what's called TLS, you know, top 10, and that really goes over the net carbs that I was talking about earlier. So it's kind of a cheat sheet for you. So copy the document, put it in your cell phone, and just have it with you in case you want to know. I also can tell you that all of the menu plans are downloadable on the TLSslim.com website. So go ahead and feel free to download them as your own PDF files, even though I'm making it convenient for you by putting it on the Facebook page. And most everything, just continue with where you're going. Get moving this week. Start eating some foods. I know that they're going to taste wonderful and great because we've cleansed our palate. So I'm so happy. And again, it's been over 60 pounds with the people on this call alone. Imagine what we're going to do over the 21 days. All right, everyone, have a really great night. I'm going to stay on Facebook after I finish the live feed tonight. So if you have any questions, please post and I will answer. Mwah! See you all next week. Have a great week.